For the last 15 years, Alex Polizzi has spent her career telling people how to run a hotel. Now she's putting her money where her mouth is, as she attempts to open one of her own.
I'm really anxious, but I brought this on myself.
As a descendant of the Forte Hotel dynasty, she knows the hospitality industry inside out.
The only conversation that I can remember, it was always about hospitality, it was always about work.
For years, she helped run her mother's 2 luxury hotels.
A thing that has always really driven me is I never want to disappoint my mother.
Now, for the first time, they've gone into business together as equal partners.
This is the first time I haven't had complete control. No, these aren't any good. Oh, God.
In 2019, they bought a 37-bedroom medieval coaching inn in East Sussex.
Windows all over this building are rotten.
Oh, God.
In need of a complete overhaul.
Oh, hell, what have I done?
Their dream was to create a high-end boutique hotel in just 6 months and reopen for the summer season.
I feel completely overwhelmed by the scale of it.
Opening a hotel is a nightmare.
But 6 months in, the hotel is still a building site.
I mean, that will turn out being another 100,000.
And they are already £1 million over budget.
You must stay at home.
As they battle the global pandemic,
The world has changed.
family bonds are pushed to the limit.
She's just used to being the boss, and I'm used to being the boss.
She's a nightmare.
If the Polizzis can't turn it around, they risk losing everything.
Our 2 hotels that we already have may be brought down by the failure of this. Darling, you don't need to shout. Impossible to work at home.
Alex has spent the last 3 months in lockdown with her family in Cornwall, overseeing the renovations of the Star from a distance. For a while, all work at the hotel was shut down, but it's now up and running again.
I've been very anxious. You know, I was supposed to be project managing this project. It's quite hard to project manage from Cornwall, 350 miles away.
In Sussex, foreman Paul Norton and his team are taking delivery of a set of bespoke Italian floor tiles ordered by Olga.
Alex and OP got a price from Italy, and it's a lot cheaper to get these and import them than it was to have them made in the UK. The large tiles are going to go through all the reception and hallway and all through the halls down to the bar area. We're hoping that somewhere the little square ones are in this delivery as well, otherwise someone's got a long trip back to Italy to find the rest of them. We worked the first week of lockdown, which was a nightmare. Everyone was shutting down, nothing was happening. We had locals unhappy, understandably so in some ways. So we furloughed everyone for 4 weeks. Came back after 4 weeks and were quite happy to get back to work and were sort of keen to get going again.
As well as losing 4 weeks, the number of builders working on site has been cut from 40 down to just 20.
The amount of people that we can have on site is always an issue with a build like this, full stop. With COVID, it became even worse, because if we're supposed to be doing social distancing, it just becomes very, very hard. I mean, firstly and foremostly, we want to keep Alex and OP happy. We want to fulfil what they're asking us to do, but at the same extent, with the sort of powers the police have got at the moment, they've only got to walk on site and they can shut us down. It's not an easy tightrope to walk, let's say.
Despite the restrictions, progress has been made, though slowly. In the last 3 months, Paul and the team have created 4 new suites in the old 60s block to go alongside the 18 standard rooms that are being completely renovated. Currently, most of the rooms here are being replastered, and new French doors and Juliet balconies have been fitted. The 10 bedrooms in the middle of the hotel are being temporarily redecorated. The plan is to fully renovate them in a couple of years' time, in a second phase of works. But with fewer builders allowed on site, they've had to down tools on the new outdoor courtyard while urgent repairs are made to the roof. Alex and Olga are still hoping for a late summer opening, but the end of the season is only 2 months away and there's a lot to do. The renovations at the Star are being funded with a loan backed by the Polizzi's other 2 hotels, Ensley and Tresanton, which have been forced to shut for the last 3 months. Alex and Olga's financial worries have been mounting, and there's other problems.
I've had such a bad run of luck recently. My mum's hurt her back and she's in absolute agony. She feels absolutely helpless because she can't help at any of the hotels, and she's in such pain it's quite hard for her to concentrate.
The only glimmer of hope is that the hotels are now allowed to reopen, and Alex is overseeing the reopening of Tresanton on the Cornish coast.
It's just crazy. I don't understand how anyone has got any work done over lockdown with children in the house doing whatever, and especially not with that irritating noise in the background. What are you doing? Right, my little sausage, I'm going to the hotel. Love you. They actually taking the piss, do you suppose? I've got to go and get a housekeeper. I'll be right back.
Tomorrow, Tresanton will open its doors to guests, so Alex is doing final room checks.
Obviously, 2 lamps don't go next to each other. Yeah? And obviously, you don't have a chair facing in like this. So what we need to do... This place has just been dead for 3 months. It's felt very unnerving having it empty because, you know, we employ a lot of people and a lot of Cornish businesses depend on the tourist trade, and without tourists, Cornwall is done for. Okay. And then the table can go here, in front of the window. It's okay, it's not a problem. I'd just rather show you myself and then I know that we've gone through it. Yeah? Thank you very much, thank you. This place really is Mum's baby. I mean, there isn't one area of the hotel that Mum hasn't put her mark on.
Tresanton was Olga's first hotel.
Hotel keeping is in my blood. I really was brought up with it. Every night, that was all I heard. I wasn't intending to go into the business at all, but Alex's father died in a car crash. My father said to me then, the children were quite small and I'd stayed at home. My father said, you'll have to come into the business and earn some money. I went into the design office. I had actually been to art school, and so I was that way inclined.
Olga's family's hotel chain, the Forte Group, was one of the biggest and most successful in the world, with over 800 hotels.
Forte owns a vast number of hotels, too many in Granada's opinion.
But in the mid-90s, it was subject to a hostile takeover, and the family lost everything.
Why haven't you made a friendly approach?
There is only a second route, and that's the traditional hostile approach.
When the company was taken over, it was incredibly painful, and I thought, that's it, I never want to see another hotel again. But the nice thing about the takeover was my father had always given us shares in the company, but never wanted us to sell any shares. We had to hold on to the shares. So I did actually get some money when the company was taken over, and that's when I bought Tresanton.
Who on earth would position a TV to the left of a chest of drawers? It's just fairly obvious, isn't it? I would have thought. I'm really looking forward to welcoming our first guests back. The only reason we bought the Star was because Ensley and Tresanton are successful and they could help us pay it back. It takes a long time for a hotel to kind of bed itself in, and I don't expect to be making masses of money at the Star from when we first open. So it matters enormously that Ensley and Tresanton are pulling their weight, helping me pay back the loan, most importantly.
With Tresanton reopened for now, Alex is on her way back to East Sussex to visit the Star.
everything just feels really uncertain and unstable on a knife edge at the moment. And probably this isn't the best time to be opening a new business. Well, what I'm really concerned about is hotels haven't been mentioned at all in any of this.
This is Alex, just on the radio at the moment. She's on Radio 4.
What should be the next step to ensure that happens?
World at 1.
My family have 2 small hotels, and we are supposed to be opening another one in Sussex this year. And actually, we have no idea, will we be able to open our hotel rooms? Are we expected to encourage our staff to wear some kind of PPE?
Oh, Alex Polizzi? Sounds like we've lost the line to Alex Polizzi.
So
no, we got you back again. Sorry, Alex, you faded.
Sorry.
You faded out momentarily then. And I was asked. Oh, Alex Polizzi. But that's not a good sign. That's really not an encouraging sign. So we probably better move on. But I will say over the airways, Alex Polizzi, thank you very much.
Alex has been in regular contact with the builders, but today is the first time she's been on site for over 4 months.
So, doors are in, which is all good. I hope you don't have a radio on here. I've had so many complaints from the neighbours about radios, so...
It was on Radio 4. I thought it would be upmarket radio.
Well, I suppose it's better than, yeah. So we've got a terrible problem with the neighbour over there. Her property abuts our building site, so you can imagine how complicated it is for her. It must be a nightmare. But I can't stop the work, and there's still a lot to do. So once all these windows are replaced, and we can start rehanging tiles and stuff, but I mean, the scale of the job is still quite overwhelming. This whole section looks like a pig's ear at the moment, but that is the new courtyard. It hasn't changed that much since when I was last here. They have managed to do stuff, but it is largely the less exciting stuff. I mean, it just does feel a bit like the Marie Celeste. You kind of look around. Yeah. We've got a building site and you can't see anyone on it.
Well, no, I know.
I mean, at the moment, it seems impossible that anyone's complaining about the noise because there's nobody here to make
Don't shout
any
too
noise.
loud, because we'll get the complaint.
With current regulations only allowing the site to operate at half capacity, the build is massively behind.
20 on at the moment. Does that mean we'll be up to 30 or 35 again?
Yeah, we'll be able to push for a lot more guys. Yeah.
OK. Yes, well, how many more?
Well,
I'm asking you to commit to how many more guys you might be able to get.
I can't commit until, because we followed the SOP, we
no,
followed HSC.
I understand that, but were they? We're all talking, it's all, you know...
If
it
we could
reduced.
work roughly within normal situations, then yes, we can get 30, 35 guys on the site with absolutely no trouble.
OK.
So, but I can't preempt what the government are going to say about how many guys we're allowed on site.
No, I understand that. No one expects you to. I mean, I keep hoping that I'm going to come and it's going to be miraculously a lot further
I'm
ahead.
a man of faith. I'm happy to pray for it.
Well, if that would help. If you think that would help.
With no clear timescale of when the workforce can return to full strength, the delays are continuing to stack up, and a late summer opening now seems impossible.
I just feel incredibly guilty that I got my mother into this project at such a bad time. And of course the benefit, you know, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but actually, you know, our 2 businesses that we already have may be brought down by the failure of this, which I can't let happen.
It's now mid-September. The Polizzis have missed the summer season entirely. Olga is at home with a bad back, and the workforce is still not operating at full capacity. But 1 or 2 of the hotel renovations are showing progress, including the Juliet balconies in the 60s block, which are now being painted.
Oh, look, that is looking nice.
That's the base coat of the French grey.
I mean, that is looking really pretty.
Yeah.
Hello, handsome.
Hey?
How did you know I was talking to you?
The bedrooms in the middle section of the hotel will be completely gutted and renovated in phase 2 of the building work in 2 years.
So these are all the old rooms that have not been knocked about.
So for now, they are undergoing a temporary makeover.
This is kind of a room more or less done. They have done quite a good job on this, slowly but surely. The bathrooms are a pig's ear, but there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about that until we finally redo these bedrooms properly. They're certainly good enough for opening.
The build at the moment is in one of the nicest stages because there's areas being finished. Wallpaper's going to be going up soon. It's sort of just start to give a taste of what it's actually going to look like. So it's all quite positive at the moment.
So all of these have been done to that level?
All of these have been done to that level, yeah.
OK, this is all really positivo.
But in the rest of the hotel, it's another story, and they're months behind schedule. The outside garden courtyard is still a pile of rubble. Work on the back room areas has only just begun, and they are yet to start on the kitchen.
When are you going to finish this, Nick?
No comment.
I mean, I'm surprised the village hasn't revolted yet.
Why? What's that got to do with him?
Well, you try living next to a building site. I need to be able to know when I'm going to be able to welcome a guest in. And until I know that from the builders, you know, things are really quite difficult for me. I will feel better when I can start taking bookings. Even if it's for some date in the future, even if it's not until April I can take paying guests, let me know that I can start taking them in April so I can start calling people and letting them know.
The builders have now given Alex a new date for completion, and it's not good news. They're estimating December, but winter is a notoriously difficult time to open a hotel, so Alex and Olga have reluctantly been forced to make a decision. If they want the opening to be a success, they'll need to wait and launch at Easter. But with Easter over 6 months away, they've come up with a radical plan to try and make the most of the delay.
Mum and I decided that we might just bite the bullet and see what it would entail to do what we were calling phase 2 works.
Phase 2 was originally planned for a couple of years down the line, once the hotel was up and running smoothly and making money. It involves a total renovation of the bedrooms in the middle of the hotel, the recently redecorated ones. Currently 10 bedrooms, the Politzis want to knock down most of the internal walls and create 7 larger rooms. And at the oldest part of the hotel, at the front, they also want to create a new suite with separate bathroom above the inn. But part of this area is listed, so it means adhering to strict building regulations.
You know, phase 2 is a terrifying next step if we decide to take it. You know, obviously there's an enormous cost implication, and the builders, I'm not sure, will be able to scale up. Can they bring it in at a price we find acceptable, and can they bring it in on a time frame that we find acceptable? You know, we've been so delayed every single step of the way.
I'll tell you, let's
Okay.
run through what we've allowed.
Yeah,
Because
great.
I don't want to give you the price yet until you know. I bloody don't.
All right.
Head builder Dave Humphreys is the man in charge of the hotel renovations and has been costing up phase 2.
Will you be able to give me a realistic schedule for the first time ever in our long and
34 weeks.
fruitful relationship, which is
The new work, 34 weeks.
34 weeks is half a year.
Yeah, just see.
Well, so we won't be able to do it, darling. I
You won't
can
do it.
tell you now. Well, 30...
Well, let's go to pricing. It's over £500,000.
OK.
I mean, the heating system,
All
with
new.
builders' work and everything, it's 115,000.
Doing phase 2 now will also mean repairs to the very oldest front parts of the hotel, adding to the workload.
That's the worst bit here, on that beam.
Oh, I hadn't even seen that.
Yeah, but you got a gallows bracket off of that, hopefully, he says.
If you can, I will find the money if you can get me the timings right.
What? So what have I got, 25 weeks?
No, 22 weeks. We'll go and check again. I
Say
mean,
5 weeks.
no, I need to be open
Yeah, but
for
surely I can work. When you go open?
the 1st of March, let's say. Well, yes, darling, that still gives you October, November, December, January, February. That's 5 months. Think about it. Have the 1st of March in your mind and work backwards. No, I'm just being honest.
I'm not pushing you out.
No,
but there
no,
is a lot of bloody work.
No,
and
and
I don't want to let you down.
No.
I really don't.
No, but I also don't want us to fall out.
Convincing the builders to take on the extra workload and work to a deadline is only half the problem.
Hi, I'm feeling a bit anxious and a bit down in the, you know, the cost of the new rooms will be much higher than we thought.
Alex and Olga still need to find the extra money to pay for it.
So it's about another £500,000. Yeah.
And they've already spent £4.5 million, £1 million more than their original estimate.
So the minimum I can sell a room for is 150 quid a night. Assuming that you then have 60% occupancy, you're probably making £350,000 profit a year. Or let's say we spend £4.5 million divided by 350,000. That takes you 12 years to pay back. It is just, you know, we are pretty much borrowed up to the hilt.
Unable to borrow any more, Olga and Alex will have to plough their own savings into the project. So Olga is determined to drive the costs down.
My main worry is money at the moment. You know, having enough money to do all the works. And it looks as if, as we're going along, you know, it's going to be double what I expected.
I've just seen my mother has sent an absolutely filthy mail to Dave. Dear Dave, I'm shocked by the price of the extra work. It is excessive when I compare it to the price of the other rooms. It cost the 4 junior suites, which are similar to the new rooms, were costed at £28,000 per key. The plumbing costs on these rooms are totally out of kilter, as are the electrics. The stripping out at £20,000 I would have accepted, not £40,000. I could do this work myself with another team. I love the idea of Mum with a sledgehammer. Sad because we were excited by doing the rooms, but the cost is unacceptable. So let's see what he comes back with.
I'm sorry. I just want to know about Balmoral. Hello, Philip. Hi.
Now over her bad back, Olga has returned to work. In response to her rather firm email, Dave has sent through a revised quote for the Phase 2 works. So Alex has come to London to meet her mum and decide whether they should go ahead with the extra renovations.
Let's just discuss, are we doing this or not? Are we going to do the next lot of rooms?
Yes, but I'm going to try and get another 10 off him. I'll say, Dave, you're nearly there. You've got to make another bit of an effort.
OK, well, if you say 10, I'm sure he won't.
Yeah. Hi, Dave.
Put him on loudspeaker.
I'll put you on loudspeaker because I'm here with Alex.
Hello?
Hello, you all right?
Yes?
Good.
Well, you've done not too badly, but I do want a tiny bit more off, Dave. Another 10. I'll let you off. I'll let you off another 20 or whatever it is that I wanted extra.
We do have a kind of good cop, bad cop routine. You know, I'm normally pretty cheerful, whereas Mum's much more serious.
You know, you haven't taken anything off the tiling. You haven't taken anything off the clothing. Off the tiling, no.
I've taken nearly £19,000 off the tiling.
If Mum says no, the answer's always going to be no.
Do you think people are scared of your mother?
I think so. I'm bloody scared of her.
Seriously?
Seriously. You know, when Mum gets cross, I mean, I'm 49 years old now. You know, I don't shake in my boots in quite the way I used to. But still, she's quite formidable, my mother.
Have just another little look. Go on, Dave. Have another little look, and then I'm happy and you're happy.
I've had a look, I can't see nothing.
Well, I'm going to have another look tonight.
Yeah, what? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
look, it's a work in progress, isn't it? At the end of the day, I mean, we're not going to fall out over that.
So we are almost there.
We're almost there. It's still much higher than I expected, but it's still, at least, we're going to have a go.
I think we are actually going to go ahead with phase 2 with enormous fear and trepidation to be ready to be open, all guns blazing for the Easter holidays.
I think it's a good idea. I just feel like I want to be a bit of an ostrich and bury my head in the sand.
With phase 2 now agreed, all Paul has to do is work out how on earth he's going to make it happen. Despite the hotel looking like a building site, the Polizzis still have to plan ahead for the opening, which for them means a trip to Milan to meet with one of their long-time suppliers.
Ciao, Elisa.
Hi, hi, hi.
We are at the studio of our friend Elisa, who's worked with my mother for
20 years with me.
20 years. You used to be young. You all used to be young.
Alex and Olga are here to make some decisions on key items, including the garden furniture for the courtyard and the crockery.
Prendiamo un tovagliolo.
And that's really pretty. Most of the time I get to do the really boring stuff on this project, but occasionally I'm allowed out of my little hut and I'm allowed to do something like this. Okay, I love these chairs, so Mum, that's so it's so comfortable.
So, dove sono I
I like the colour. This comes with arms and without arms.
This comes with arms and without arms, yeah. Però non è che fai molto, eh?
No, it isn't that comfortable
No.
in the
Try
sun.
this.
Especially if you've got a summer dress on and you've got to lie back.
Lots of the interior furniture we're getting straight from England. But Italy is still a really good place to come for things like china and specialist china. That's different. I
Yeah, I
love
know, I
that.
got him to do that one.
And it's this one that I don't
Yes,
like,
that's-
and this is too similar. So let me do that and that, like that. Is it all a bit green?
No, because that's not green, that's a
Well,
different colour,
that's-
that's a different colour.
My mother will be making the decisions today. If I'm lucky, she'll give way on 1 or 2 ideas, but only through gritted teeth. The champagne glasses, they're lovely. I'm really happy. Do we 100?
I think we need more. I think 200 because
200 champagne glasses.
I've never really wanted a partner. I've always wanted to do my own thing. You know, in Roccaforte hotels, I'm obviously part of a big group and I have to listen to what other people want. And I rather enjoy doing my own thing in these hotels.
It's covered with plastic.
But it would look rather nice with our Hessian chairs.
I don't know, I quite like the one that looks just like linen, you know.
Obviously, my mother is director of design for Roccaforte hotels. I mean, she spends her whole life doing one hotel after another, dealing with builders, dealing with architects, dealing with design dilemmas, picking fabrics, deciding details. I mean, that is her, she's brilliant at it. And I can't pretend that I can compete with that, so I don't try to. We need some outside blankets.
This is the possible color.
I like the brownie one.
Or this one.
Yeah, but grey. Look at this chair, darling. That with that is going to look rather sad.
Well, that with that looks a bit
Oh, well,
sad.
I think that looks rather chic, where that looks a bit boring.
OK, facciamolo marrone.
Mum gave way on at least 2 things today, I think. She let me have the dark brown outdoor blankets for over the knees. She preferred the paler ones. And then she gave way about the table mats. On the other hand, I've given way about the napkins, which are more expensive. I've given way on, every other decision. Let's face it, but I'm going to celebrate my victories rather than cry over my defeat. How are you lot doing? Oh, look at this! They've knocked through. You like a bit of demolishing, don't you?
Olga and Dave have settled on a price and agreed a schedule of 22 weeks for the Phase 2 works. And today, Alex is on site to check the progress. What was originally going to be a temporary makeover has now become a full-on renovation. The 10 freshly repainted and almost finished rooms are now being completely demolished to create the 7 larger rooms.
So sad. All these rooms that we painted that are now going to be ripped apart. Anyway.
We were about to, I think next week, hand over the rooms ready to be carpeted. We are now halfway through demolishing them, putting new walls in. Holes in the floor, walls missing. There's literally none of the bathrooms are left, everything's gone. So.
Gosh, that's quite exciting.
It is frustrating, but actually at the end of the day, we've been paid to paint it, we painted it, and now we're being paid to remodel the rooms, so we're remodelling them.
That is the only wall in the whole building on this stretch of corridor that we're keeping. I feel really sorry for the painters who laboured over those 2 corridors to make what was really a pig's ear into a silk purse. And it's a bit heartbreaking to see all that work now being ripped out. Hiya. Yeah, I'm just bringing biscuits. Here you go, darling. Help yourself. Good for you. But I have to think about the greater good. And it is going to make a huge difference, and it will definitely be worth it.
There are signs of progress around the hotel. Downstairs, the Italian terracotta tiles are being laid along the walkways next to the restaurant.
Whenever I'm feeling depressed about how things are going, I come down here, and this is my happy place, because actually it does kind of look as if we're getting to a point where we might actually finish an area. He's doing a great job, and actually the one really nice thing is that when these tiles arrived, we thought we'd made a mistake with them. We weren't really happy with what they looked like. And now, we love them.
With the Phase 2 renovations well underway, this afternoon Olga has come along for an inspection.
So this is quite exciting. They've cut the new doorways.
Blocked up the old ones.
And blocked up the old ones.
The walls have all been knocked down and are being rebuilt to create the 7 new larger rooms that will make the most of the original building's features.
This is a lovely room with the 3 windows. Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Paul's quite good at this stuff. I mean,
sometimes.
After years of experience.
No, I mean, there's not much I can really compliment you on, but this, yes.
Some of the new bedroom windows in this second phase of works run along a side of the hotel which is listed.
And of course, Paul, we've got to change all the glass in the windows.
They won't let us.
What do you mean?
Heritage won't let us change it for clear. We've already had that conversation.
The South Downs heritage regulations mean much tighter restrictions on what they can and cannot do.
That's completely ridiculous.
I don't know.
It's sort of madness, really.
It's hideous. We can't have obscure glass in a bedroom. I mean, that's really hideous.
Oh, I quite agree. I can swap them.
We swap.
So we'll manage to put the obscure panels in all the bathrooms.
But even
and then the
that's
clear.
hideous, but we can put a bit of linen.
Linen, exactly.
People that are involved in the heritage and listings aspect of the end of the building, they're just discussing, can we put a bath in, can we not put a bath in, can we put this here, can we not do that, because they can actually say yes or no to even things down like as small as paint colour. Can we paint the wall that colour? No, because it's not within keeping with the heritage of the building. So what was confined to areas is now just sort of exploded across the whole job.
And the shower tray's in.
Yeah. The shower tray could have been a bit bigger, Tim. I mean, it's a very small shower.
It is a small shower.
Bit horrid. And then this is not a particularly nice detail, Tim. You know, having a lowered there and a higher here. That's why I thought it would have been better to, you know, to box them equally.
So look, this is all plastered out.
Gosh.
Come a long, long way.
This is a bit horrid. It's ruined the windows a bit. You know, in the curtains, but this isn't very nice, is it?
It took them ages to do fiddling about with it.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the ones holding them up at this stage. They need all the bloody help they can get if we're ever going to get this thing done. You know, it's just not that much fun. And I think what Mum doesn't appreciate is that this isn't meant to be a vanity project. This is meant to actually be a functioning hotel that starts making some money at some point in the not too distant future. And it feels quite far away still, that. Here, Mama, look, I've got the carpets. I know you're going to say to me that it's too light, but look what an imperfect match that is.
I don't particularly like that. I think maybe that's smarter.
The darkest one?
Yes.
I just think it's a bit too dark. I suppose Mum's thing is she's a designer, so I do understand that's her kind of obsession, is what things look like, and I'll go along with it so far. But, you know, I do feel like I'm a bit handicapped in getting things done because I have to keep, you know, she makes every decision, any decision I make, she doesn't like.
On the whole, we sort of agree with most things, but we do, now and again, we clash. But one has to, as you know. It's no longer a mother-daughter relationship, it's two grown-up relationships.
Somehow it looks with this green, it looks a bit kind of like a hospital, the whole thing.
But maybe it's still nicer than that.
Okay. I have registered my objection. Oh, I just feel a bit frustrated because I can't really hassle them about not being done in time when we're still making decisions and still changing things. And I'm not the one who's making the decisions. I'm merely the one who's got to get everything open. And I feel like I kind of keep really pushing on, and then it's a little bit frustrating when, you know... Yes, Ma. I was just saying we've got so many decisions still to make.
I know.
And I know we're cross with the builders, but we are kind of...
Well, they've got so much to do.
As November draws to a close and much still to do, Alex and Olga have just over 3 months till their new planned opening date.
We now have a new variant of the virus. The number of deaths is up by 20% over the last week and will sadly rise further. We must therefore go into a national lockdown which is tough enough to contain this variant.
It's 15 months since Alex and Olga bought the Star and 8 months past their original opening date.
So it's still a mess everywhere. What? Still looks a mess everywhere.
While the bedrooms in the 60s extension are nearly finished, the corridors are still being painted and need carpeting. The Phase 2 works in the middle section of the hotel are progressing, but months away from being finished. The outdoor courtyard, kitchen and back of house areas are still not completed.
There's no point blinking now because, you know, this really is, it's like a game of chicken, you know, we've got to get to the end now because otherwise this place will never start paying back. And it needs to kind of hit the ground running and start making some money.
After a 3-month delay, the china that Olga and Alex had designed in Milan has finally arrived.
So disappointing.
It's so disappointing.
I don't think we can use it.
I don't either.
It's hideous.
Hideous. And this looks, in this funny position.
No, but the worst thing is the harshness of it. We showed them some English leaves and they've just taken a photograph of them and just made a transfer and shoved them on. So there's nothing sort of painterly about them or sort of soft, or it's just a stuck-on transfer.
Well, they're actually ugly.
Yes.
But it's just annoying because we've been promised these samples for months, so we've wasted 4 months. And, you know, it would just be nice if something was actually just went like it was supposed to.
builders are now turning their attention to the rooms at the front of the hotel, the very oldest part of the building. This area is all listed, so the team can't alter any of the original features or make structural changes. The plan is to redecorate the upstairs front rooms, turning what was offices into a deluxe 2-room suite.
Oh dear. That's rot as a pancake, isn't it?
Previous owners have covered over some of the original walls, but Alex and Olga plan to reveal them and use the beams as a design feature.
Let's hope it don't fall down.
But the more of the 500-year-old structure they uncover, the more rotten the wooden beams are.
So this was a nasty surprise when we started decorating here. When he was doing the beams, he suddenly realised that he could basically put his hand through. And so that was completely wet and rotten. And as you can see there, and there, and there. The problem is this was one roof that we really didn't want to have to touch because we just didn't have the money to do it.
And it's not just the oak beams in the roof. There are serious concerns about the floor in what is destined to be the bathroom of the new suite.
I mean, look how rotten it is. It's absolutely terrifying.
The work needed to make the front of the building safe again is not only expensive and time-consuming, but every step of the work must be signed off by the Heritage Trust.
We've got to have all these steel plates made that then screw through the beams that are solid, and only then can we take out the acros that are kind of keeping everything up. And then we can go back to painting, decorating and sorting. But at the moment, everything's drawn to a terrible halt, for obvious reasons.
The unforeseen rotten beams are expected to delay the build by at least 6 weeks, meaning any hopes of an Easter opening are now completely scuppered.
Just seems to be one step forward and 2 steps back.
Oh, Mum, it's Monday. You always feel like that on a Monday.
I know, it's gosh.
I know.
All these additional costs are being subsidised by the other 2 family hotels, so the longer the delays, the greater the burden on the entire family business.
Hello, Dave. Mum's feeling depressed. I'm hoping you can cheer her up a bit.
Why are you depressed then?
Oh, God, it's just everything. You know, the kitchen seems a mess, and I can't see it finished, this whole thing.
Anyway, tiles look good, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So that's a good point.
It's just somehow everywhere's a mess, you know. It's just...
I do understand why my mum gets depressed, because it does feel like pushing water uphill some days. But the point is, we don't really have an option, do we? We've just got to keep on going and hope that one day, eventually, this will get done and it'll start making some money.
Just can't see an end to it. You know, I wish I'd never started. I really do. It's just so depressing. Massive money going out and sort of no end to it. And this bloody virus, you know, on and on and on. Just a nightmare.
Almost a year on from the first lockdown, and the Star, the Polizzi's first mother-daughter hotel venture, is £1.5 million over budget and teetering on a cliff edge. Olga's 2 other hotels have barely been allowed to open, and the entire hospitality industry is at rock bottom.
You know, the economy collapsing isn't going to be great for anybody.
For nobody.
And so that's really nerve-wracking. I think we're worried about lockdown in the short term, and we've done a good
I'm
job.
Incredibly against all this lockdown stuff. I think we should just keep going. Otherwise, the whole country is going to come to a standstill. We're going to ruin so many businesses.
But the reason that they did lock down was because the hospitals, the intensive cares were all full. Come and save me from my mother.
Next time,
Where are you? I'll come to you, Paul, please.
there's a rush to get the hotel open on time.
We're trying to go through the rooms so that there's some hope we can actually get some of the rooms done rather than none of the rooms.
And the big day doesn't go as planned.
First night of opening, it's a pretty disastrous beginning for me. I'm literally going to have a heart attack. I just feel like, what am I going to do?
All that new next Thursday at 9. Rediscovering some adventure on the southwest coast. Join Michael Portillo walking coastal Devon and Cornwall, brand new Wednesday at 8. And tonight, the reality of danger on the front line. Police Code Zero, Officer Under Attack is next.